Building friendships as an adult is it's probably a little bit different than it is as kids, but it probably has similarities. I think one of the well, I think probably everyone's experienced this when you have like an old friend, like someone from back in the day, right? You get together, you hang out, and you can pretty well hang out like nothing ever happened. And even though maybe a lot has happened, but in terms of you've still got that shared experience and that familiarity with each other's personality. And I do think that shared experiences are one of the easiest ways for friendships to kind of solidify. So, um, I think about some of the friends that I've made, maybe in church settings, for instance, where, the primary place where we bump into each other is at church. And I think that while it's great, I enjoy and appreciate those friendships. Um, I think that without, more shared experience, it can be a little hard to develop something that feels kind of durable. Like if you don't see that person for 6 months or a year, and you suddenly tried to kind of rekindle things a little bit, would there be, would it be a little awkward? Would it be a little tough? Would it be kind of like talking to a stranger again? Not necessarily, but I think there's something about shared experience that really gives you kind of a reference point, a familiarity, some of those things that you wouldn't get otherwise. Um, I had a One of the things that was really interesting was back when I was at IGO. Um, During the first semester, there was a guy there who was a little more on the quiet side. Wasn't super outgoing, kind of did his own thing a little bit more. And I don't know that we were particularly close or anything. I was dating at the time, so of course, spare time, I was, on Skype with my girlfriend, now my wife, fortunately. And so, you know, it's certainly fair to say that I may have been a little preoccupied as well. But we ended up going, I think it was in the second semester that we ended up going on maybe all of the same mission trips together, something like that. And we, maybe even some of the first semester, I don't remember. But we had, we had shared experience. And on one mission trip in particular, there was a somewhat traumatic event that happened in which one of our group had a kid run out in front of them when they were driving a motorcycle and or little motorbike and plowed right into the kid. We didn't know in the moment whether the kid was going to make it or not. He did make it, but took a pretty nasty hit and then got a pretty serious injury to his arm, I think, arm or leg. Um, anyway, so we had some shared experience for sure, and it was interesting how we really became. I'm not quite sure how to explain it, but we became good friends in a way that I don't think I would have anticipated necessarily. Like, I don't know that I would have said, looked at him and been like, yeah, this guy is definitely going to be my friend. You could argue maybe our personalities were a little too similar, you know, whatever you would, I just don't know that it wasn't clear to me necessarily from the first semester that we were going to be like really tight or something. But by the end of that last semester, we were really good friends, I would say, and we had, you know, such a wealth of shared experience at that point. I remember after we came back from that mission trip, we went out, I think, for coffee to just kind of talk about things. And, there was definitely some stuff to process with all that had happened on that trip. But, I think I remember someone else being like, what? You just went on an entire mission trip and now you're going out, like spending the day with this guy again or whatever. And yeah, but it was, we really forged a great friendship in that time. Now, over time, we haven't kept up very well. Probably neither one of us tend to do really great at keeping up long distance relationships. We've occasionally visited each other over the years. That's probably been not quite 20 years ago now. Between 15 and 20 years ago, which is crazy. But yeah, there's something special, I think, about shared experiences. And I do think that if we were to get together, that we would still enjoy each other's company a lot because, in part, because of those shared experiences. So, anyway, I think that's probably one of the things for me to think about is if I want to develop more and better friendships, is how can I have more shared experiences with people to kind of develop that foundation level, or develop that foundation for my friendships.